Hey viewers, welcome back to our channel. Hope you are doing extremely well. So from today onwards, we are going to solve the questions on the topic of stack. So our first question which we're going to solve today is nothing but duplicate brackets. So without wasting time, let's try to understand what is the question statement. Okay, so let me take some part from the question on my whiteboard and then we try to analyze it. So in this question here, we can see that we are provided with some of the expressions, and based on those expressions, we need to print something. False and true. So means definitely we need to deal some conditions. And what are those conditions? Let's think about this. Okay, so here the first expression is false and the second expression is true. So what we need to do in this question is that we need to tell that we are provided with expression, and we know that we can wrap each expression into the parenthesis. Okay, we already know that, just because when we write some mathematical equations, we also wrap the parts of the equation into the parenthesis. Okay, but in this question there may be a possibility that some of the expressions are wrapped up by a parenthesis more than once. Means there is a duplicacy of the bracket, and that duplicacy of a bracket we need to detect in our expression. Okay, so let's try to understand how the duplicacy can be detected, or how we know that whether there is any duplicacy or not. So here let's try to understand this first part. So here you can see a plus b expression is wrapped up by these parentheses, these two parentheses. So whether they are valid or not, yes, obviously they are valid. Move to c plus d expression. C plus d expression are wrapped up by the parentheses, whether they are valid or not. Yes, they are valid, just because they are wrapping some content of the expression. Now you can see there is one more parenthesis here that is wrapping the whole expression. So whether this expression is duplicate or not? No, this is not duplicate, just because it is wrapping some content from a plus b and some content from c plus d. We are assuming like this. We are assuming in a way like a plus b get sold and it will give some answer like x, and c plus d gets solved and it will give some answer, and it get wrapped by some parenthesis. Okay, we can also assume it like this. Let's try to understand the second part. So here okay, you can see here as there is no duplicacy of bracket, so we have printed the false. Let's move forward to the second part. Here you can see that a plus b is get wrapped up by a parenthesis. So yeah, there is no duplicacy. Okay, now moving to the c plus d part. So c plus d part is also get wrapped up by some parenthesis, and which is a valid part. So means there is no duplicacy. But you can see here, after the one parenthesis there is one more parenthesis, that is this and this parenthesis, and these parentheses are actually wrapping the same content which is actually get wrapped up by another parenthesis. Means it is wrapping the same content which is wrapped by the another parenthesis that is wrapping the c plus d plus whole parenthesis. So you can see here is a duplicacy of bracket, just because the outermost parenthesis does not holding some new content, or does not holding any of the content. Actually it is actually these are the useless. So here you can see as there is a duplicacy, so we can say yes, there is a duplicacy in bracket, so we have printed true. So we just need to detect it, and based on this detection we either print true or we will either print false. Okay, so it's my request. Yeah, one more thing is that input this question is you can use the stack, and how you will use stack we will discuss it in the solution approach. Till then, just try to solve it by yourself. Pause this video right now and then watch the solution part. Okay, so I am assuming that you have tried it by yourself. Now let's try to discuss the solution part. Okay, let me erase it. So what we have discussed till now is that we are assuming that we are provided with two expressions, not two expression, we are provided with any of the expression, and in that expression some parts are wrapped up by the parenthesis, and we need to check that whether the part which is wrapped by parenthesis are containing some extra parentheses or not. So here you can see that in the first part there was no extra parenthesis, but in the second part there was some part which is parentheses were wrapping some part which is also wrapped up by some extra parentheses. We did so we can say here was the duplicacy of the parenthesis, because one parenthesis was useless. Okay, so what we'll do in that case of the detection is that I will use a stack. Okay, how the stack will be helpful, let's try to understand it. Now what will be my approach or the intuition to solve this question is that, but I will think whatever I will get, okay, whatever I will get, I know that my content will be wrapped between the parentheses, okay. So what will be my approach is that whatever I will get, the opening parenthesis or or any of the expression, I will just push it into the stack. The moment I encounter the closing parenthesis, I try to find it whether the opening and the closing parenthesis, there exists some data between both of them or not. Means if there exists some data between the opening and the closing parenthesis, that means it is pointing or it is wrapping some data. If there doesn't exist any data between the opening and the closing parenthesis, that means they are useless, they are not working anywhere. Okay, let's try to understand this with the first example. So at first, what was my approach? I will, okay, wait, opening parenthesis, any of the operand or the operator, that is a plus b or c d e f and multiplication division, I will just add it to my stack. Okay, so let me write it. Opening parenthesis, operator and operand. Okay, I just push it into the stack. So at first I encounter opening bracket, okay, push it into the stack, again opening bracket, push it into the stack, then a, push, again plus push, then b, push. Now I encounter the closing bracket. The moment I encounter the closing bracket, I start popping my elements from the stack. Till when I encounter the till the moment I encounter the opening bracket at the top of stack. Means the moment I encounter this closing bracket, at first I pop this b, then I pop this a plus, then I pop this a, then I pop this okay. So at first let's again pop it. At first we pop b, we pop plus, we pop a, and the moment I get the opening bracket on the top of stack, I can say that yes, there exists some of the data between opening and the closing bracket. Means they are wrapping some data, they are not useless. Okay, so again I will pop it. Okay, let's move forward. We reach to this plus, we popped it into this, we push it into the stack. Then we encounter this opening bracket, we push it into the stack. We encounter c, push, plus, push, d, push. Now we encounter the this closing bracket. The moment we encounter closing bracket, what was our step? Our step was nothing but start popping from the stack. Okay, we start popping from the stack. At first we pop d, we pop plus, then c, then at the top of stack we get the opening bracket, and here we can see that there exists some data between the opening and the closing bracket, which we have already popped out. So just pop this opening bracket from the from the stack, and till now we can say that there is no duplication of the bracket because each parentheses are holding some of the important data between them. Now we move forward, we reach to the last position of this expression, that is nothing but a closing bracket. And the moment I encounter the closing bracket, I start popping from the stack. I encountered this plus operator. Okay, here you can see there is a plus operator. I popped it from the stack, and then I get the opening bracket. And as you can see, there is a data between opening and the closing. I can say that no, it is not the duplicate bracket. It is holding some data between themselves. So means they are working. Means they are not idle. Okay, so at last I will again pop it from the stack and I will print false, just because there is no duplication of the bracket. Let's again try to understand with the second case. Okay, just because unless and until you don't get the intuition of the false, true case means the violated condition, you don't get it how our approach is working like this. Okay, what was our approach? The moment we encounter any of the operator, operand, and the opening bracket, just push it into the stack. We push plus, opening bracket a plus b, and we get this opening bracket. So start popping out from the stack. We pop this b plus a, and again at last we get this opening bracket and pushed it out. Okay, we know that why we are pop it out. We know that why we are popping it out, just because we know that there exists some data between the opening and the closing bracket. Okay, now we again move forward. There is a push it into the stack. We get this opening bracket, again push it. opening bracket, again push it, this C again push it, this plus again push it, this D again push it. Now we are getting this closing bracket. Now start popping from the stack. Pop this D from the stack, pop this D from the stack, pop this plus from the stack, this C from the stack, this first opening bracket from the stack. Just because the moment we encounter the opening bracket from the stack, we are popping the data from the stack, we know that there exists the data between opening and the closing. Now let's move forward. The moment we reach and we access this last element from this from the expression, it was nothing but the closing bracket, and at the top of stack there is nothing but a opening bracket. As you can see that we have not popped any of the data till now. Means as we haven't popped any of the data, so I can say that opening and closing bracket does not contain any data between themselves. Means they remain idle throughout the expression. So means they are duplicate brackets. Okay. So what we'll do this time, we print true just because there is a duplicate brackets which we encountered here. So I hope you get it, that how we will solve this question, what is the intuition behind this question. So now what we'll do, we just move on to the Pepcoding portal and try to code. Okay. So this is your Pepcoding portal. Let's try to write the code here. Okay. So at first we are getting the expression. So I will write if, I will create the function checked bracket BRS, and pass this string, pass this expression to my function as a parameter, expression. If this function return true, I will just print true, true. Otherwise I will print false. Okay. So let's try to complete this function. Okay. So the first thing is creating this function def or checked bracket bracket and taking this expression. Okay. I'm writing its name as x string. Okay. So what will be your first thing? First thing is creating the stack list as a which behave as a stack. Now the second thing is iterating over the given expression for chin string, and if ch is not equals to the closing bracket, if ch is not equals to the closing bracket, what I will do, stack dot append stack dot append ch. Okay. Otherwise what I will do, I will compare the stack top that is the stack -1 if it is the closing bracket. If it is the closing bracket, okay, I just forget the semicolon, or not the semicolon, I just forget the colon. Okay, so in that case I'll return true, means there is a duplicate bracket. Else what I will do, I will iterate over the I will start popping the elements from the stack -1 is not equals to the opening bracket. Unless until I'll not encounter the opening bracket, I'll just pop from the stack dot pop. Okay, and at last I just need to pop one more element, so I'm popping it, and I'll just return false at the end. Return false. Okay, so that's the code of this question. I hope you get it. But I have written, I am iterating over the string. I am comparing whether the string character is the closing bracket or not, because we know whenever we get the closing bracket, we just need whenever we get the closing bracket, means okay, in the first condition we are comparing whether the element we are getting from the expression is not a closing bracket. Okay, and if it is not a closing bracket, we just need to append into the stack, add it to the stack. Otherwise I need to perform some operation. What will be the operation? If the stack top is the opening bracket and if the element is the closing bracket, means I have not popped anything. That means there is the duplicacy. Otherwise I need to pop some elements from the stack, and I need to pop one more element, that is nothing but the opening bracket. Okay, and at last I'm returning false. Let's try to run it. Okay, so here I'm running it. Our answer is get accepted. Let's try to submit it for all the test cases, and most probably it get accepted. I hope you get the solution approach of this question, intuition behind this question. It's my request that you try to solve this question by yourself. And if you like this video, if you like this content, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We meet in the next video. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy.